What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. Now, you guys already know I'm super excited about this series. This is X-Men Age of Revelation, Overture. This is kind of really kicking it all off and showing us, giving a glimpse of this future with Revelation's Krakoa. Now, if you're just walking into this series, what we're seeing is the mutant by the name of Cypher. Never really extraordinary in any sense. But when Apocalypse makes him his heir, he becomes something new. He becomes something dangerous. And so when we hop to the future, we see the world he's created, the utopia for mutant kind. But there's a small resistance group, and they know that everything he's been doing is all a lie. As we hop into this future, we're headed into the Revelation territories. Now, we have a couple of mutants who have shown up to this small little village. In the wake of a destruction, they come across a young child mutant that has a unique power, has the ability to fix anything simply by thinking it. But the young mutant's powers, they're not at full strength. They haven't reached the full potential. That's where Topaz comes in. Think of Topaz kind of like Fabian Cortez. Now, there's not many of these mutants out there, but the ones that do exist, they work side by side with Revelation. This is his secret weapon, these muses, if you will, with the mutant power of strengthening other mutant abilities. They are hugely vital to not only Revelation's success, but maintaining the balance of power. But using this power and helping this girl rebuild the village, this is where we see Topaz get taken the hell out. Hiding from the bushes, there was a sniper. A gun powerful enough to cut Topaz's head clean the heck off. Like, this is not a decapitation. There is no head to speak of. The one that pulled the trigger is Glob. And it's crazy because if we jump back into the past, if you've been following the X titles, Glob's really just been a cook. Like, he hasn't had any appetite for any kind of violence, any kind of missions, nothing. But as we go through this new timeline, we're gonna find that Glob, he's turned into a badass. He's turned into a Rambo. He's turned into straight ready to kill. This is what takes us over to our Rebellion HQ. We have Cyclops, who is waking up. Now, as he looks around, he sees Forge. He sees Magneto, but he's trying to figure out what the heck's going on. He sees Jin. He sees Warren, Zorn, Schwarzschild. And he's like, alright, what the hell is going on? Give me a sit rep right now. And even Warren's like, man, I actually forgot that he was like this. But Magneto indulges and he tells him, like, we brought your consciousness from 10 years ago. You are now in present day, 10 years into your subjective future. And he already knows that means things have gone sideways. They've gone very bad, especially seeing that Schwarzschild's here as an X-Men. But he has to know what caused this. That's when they tell him that it was us. It was mutant kind. More to the point, it was the X-Men. 10 years ago, Doug Ramsey, now better known as Revelation, joined the X-Men, the heir of Apocalypse. His words can control, and with his generals by his side, his muses to help boost his power, he's able to speak to cells on a living thing. He can control the very cells of an item, from vegetation to actual sentient beings. And him joining the X-Men was his first step, taking Scott outside and showing him the land of Revelation, this new era of Krakoa. This place that was once part of the United States is now referred to as the Age of Revelation. These are the Revelation territories once known as Philadelphia. Now, this is what takes us over to Cypher. Psylocke has come to him, letting him know what happened to Topaz. And Topaz being one of the most valuable people, one of the most valuable mutants, this power isn't just lying around. Psylocke tries to argue that this was an ambush. Somebody knew that we were coming. They knew where we would be. This was planned. This was orchestrated, which means we have a spy. Found in the shooter's nest is the X-Men symbol. That's when he tells her to wear it. And though she doesn't want to, she put down the X-Men a long time ago and now she only serves Revelation. But then he commands her to wear it. Having no free will to stop herself, she pins it to her chest. And now he says that the X-Men have finally done it. I have finally exhausted myself with the nostalgic indulgence of keeping them around. It's time we send the Angel of Death. It's time we end the X-Men. As for Psylocke, she has a new mission. He believes he knows who the leak is. And so Psylocke is going to be the one sent to address it. And is going to take all of Psylocke's skill to take down this next foe. Because the next foe is Bay the Blood Moon, possessor of the Odom Notes, champion of Araco, wife of Revelation, and now a fugitive running for her life. Headed back to our Rebellion HQ, Magneto's really just filling Scott in on everything that happened. 3K unleashed the mutant virus. This transformed people and everything else. Some were able to survive unscathed. But soon, the land itself, it changed and it harmed them. Only mutants were able to live in the infected zone. Humans have been pushed out as far as the Mississippi. And honestly, I love the conversation here. You know, after everything that mutant kind has been through, after everything that they have endured, Scott looks around at this future and he's like, what's to be done about it? Like, this has already happened. We can't just reverse this. Despite how we got here, this is the best situation mutants have had since Krakoa fell, at least based off of everything that he's read in the notes put together by Zorn. But Magneto, his bigger concern is that Revelation has positioned himself as a mutant messiah, as the defender against the wounded United States. But Scott says again, I don't see the problem with this. Like, this is Doug we're talking about. He's always going to find his way into some kind of leadership with mutant kind. His path was always headed in that direction, so I don't understand what the problem is here. And Magneto says that this was all built on genocide. It was all built on a lie. That it was Beast who discovered all of this. And this is where we see Beast. But we also learned that not only Scott was brought to the future, but Hank was as well. They had to restrain him for a little bit because it took a while for his consciousness to really catch up. We also learned that both Scott and Beast, the future versions of their minds, their consciousness, they're gone. They're erased. They're overwritten. You see, they needed X-Men's greatest leader and X-Men's greatest mind. The future Scott and Hank, they got punished by Revelation. He used his power to strip all language from your minds. He made you into babbles. And this put Scott at pause. Like, there's no way. Doug Ramsey. You're telling me Doug Ramsey did that to me. Magneto saying that if only disbelief made it not so. But this is Doug Ramsey's cruelest punishment. Neurologically incapable of communicating even the simplest concepts. And so Scott's gotta ask, what's the mission? What is so important that you brought me here? Like Magneto had said, this was all built on genocide. It was all built on a lie. So they're gonna kill Revelation. They're gonna free this land from his influence. And as we pick up elsewhere with Bay the Blood Moon, she finds herself toe-to-toe with Psylocke, one of the world's greatest assassins against one of Araco's greatest champions. A battle for the ages, but a battle that Bay the Blood Moon was most definitely expecting. She knew that someone would come for her. She knew that someone would try to slay her. And so as that fight begins, we pick up with the X-Men. Cyclops still trying to get the hang that Schwarzschild is here, part of the X-Men. You know, him being like, I was always an X-Men, blah, 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 so on and so forth. Glob is straight up a mercenary throughout this series. Like, he just goes straight ham. As the three of them sit here and talk, there's a child hiding in the bushes, and without hesitation, Glob picks up his pistol. Cyclops stops him, and he's like, what the hell are you doing? He's like, that was a kid. But Glob says that was an Omega kid. And that's where we pick up in Philadelphia with the once kid Omega. At this point, I guess we just call him Omega. And that Omega kid, it is sending signals back to Omega, who sends signals back to Revelation, letting them know the location of Cyclops and the Resistance. This is where they deploy the Angel of Death, as they prepare to send out the greatest weapon mutant kind has ever had. We pick up with the battle between Psylocke and Bay the Blood Moon. Now, Psylocke is battling but trying to make sense of what's happening. Bay the Blood Moon is the right hand of Revelation. No one has ever been closer to him. And so Psylocke, you can't be the leak. There's no way you're the leak, so why did you run? And Bay says that I didn't leak anything, that I found out something I wish wasn't true, something that he didn't want the world to know. I know what he is planning. I know what he wants to do next. I know what all of this has been for, and I know that it betrays everything he was charged with. You forget that I am a Viraco. I fight until I cannot fight anymore. And when Psylocke drives her blade into Bay the Blood Moon, Psylocke has to wonder, what is this? Is this suicide by mutant? But Bay the Blood Moon, she had no intention of walking away from this battle alive. This was all a holding action, a chance to buy time, because it takes about 34 minutes for a psychic burst transmission to reach Mars from Earth at this point in their orbits. And she just finished sending it. She sent a message to Araco. You see, Bay the Blood Moon, her husband, was given this power, his mission, by one far older and wiser than him, Apocalypse. And now he is heard. Bay the Blood Moon has given him the message. He knows what he is planning. And so, Apocalypse will come to judge. And in telling Psylocke the truth, Bay the Blood Moon will have her revenge. Because once you hear the truth, your life will also be forfeit. This is where we pick up with the X-Men running. After the Omega Kid had found them, they had no other option but to move and move quickly. They know what is hunting them. Revelation's greatest assassin, the Angel of Death, is none other than Wolverine. With Wolverine coming out of hiding, jumping from the bushes, the first one he strikes is Magneto. He drives his claws into his chest, dropping him right there on the spot. The second one he goes after is Forge. Magneto having the strength to take him down, Forge having the technology to take him down. He takes out the two biggest threats right there on the spot. With Logan taking them out one by one, Zorn is recognizing that this is where it ends. He tells the other X-Men that it's been an honor, that you all have your mission. We all sacrifice for it. He pulls off his helmet, and we see the event horizon begin. He tells Logan that you're not fast enough to stop me, but are you strong enough to survive me? As Wolverine drives his claws into the stomach of Zorn, we see the detonation, the X-Men fleeing for their lives, the bloodied hands of Wolverine, and then we are picking up with Bay the Blood Moon. Revelation has come to her. He's learning that Psylocke has the Doom Note, and he tells her that I know you think I betrayed the great purpose, but everything I've done has been in pursuit of it. Even this, even sacrificing the one person in the world who means anything to me, that I love you. I will never forget you, but now it is time for you to die. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. This one was a huge issue. First and foremost, I think Glob is one of the biggest talking points of this comic. Glob goes from a pacifist, somebody that doesn't really want to do any harm or any damage, he just wants to cook food. But 10 years in this future, after everything that he's endured, he is more battle-hardened than ever before. And I love Cyclops showing up, and at first he's looking around and he's like, listen, it all sucks the way things went down, but also, I don't hate the way things turned out. This doesn't seem that bad. Now, obviously, after learning about Revelation, learning about how he's essentially become a god and controlling people, Cyclops is like, alright, bet, he definitely needs to be handled, but also, I don't hate this future. For all the outcomes that Mutant Kind could have, this is a pretty damn good outcome. And then last but not least, I think that the most significant thing that's going to happen throughout this series is the arrival of Apocalypse. Now, Apocalypse has left Cypher, left Revelation to his devices for the last 10 years. He has stayed on Mars and let Revelation figure out how he's going to rise up Mutant Kind to their rightful place. The question is Apocalypse going to have issue with what Revelation has done? I don't think Apocalypse is going to have a problem with it. I think Loki's gonna show up and he's gonna be like, all right, why haven't you done more? Why haven't you taken over more? But Apocalypse might also have an issue with taking away free will. But as Revelation says, all of this has been part of his plan, that everything is for the grand purpose. Even the death of Bay the Blood Moon. I would assume even the call going out to Apocalypse is all part of his plan. But I, for one, am definitely excited to see where this is gonna go. We're off to a fantastic start of this futuristic story. I was a little hesitant going in, but so far it's looking very promising. It's got a lot of titles to get through, so hopefully, we can come out at the end of this not feeling too fatigued and feeling like we got a really good X-Men story. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your theories. If you want to get caught up on everything that is going on with this series, go ahead, check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It's going to get you completely caught up on everything that has been going on with all the X-Men titles. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership. This is a lot like Patreon, having multiple different tiers, from $1 to $50 from loyalty badges to comics every single month. Not only are you helping me out tremendously, you're also getting a bunch of perks in the process. But if you're not able to do that, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.